Do I want children? Am I ready to be a parent? Or what I think the better question is, am I equipped to be the parent that I would like to be? Those are some big and difficult questions that I had to ask myself and thought long and hard about, and I came to the conclusion that the answer to all three is yes. But that was not easy, and today I want to explore how I got to my yes, to kind of, voice it to myself clearly and attempt that, but also maybe to help you if you're trying to answer those questions for yourself as well, because it was not easy to figure that out. This is Emily's pregnancy pillow. Why don't we just have these pillows? They're so comfy. Do I want children? How did I decide that? All my life I was kind of on the fence whether I wanted to have children or not. I wasn't really sure, and at some point I just told myself, you know what, Jason, enjoy your youth and start worrying about having children seriously once you hit 30. So I kind of delayed that decision. However, once I got with Emily, who felt similar about kids, she wasn't sure whether she wanted them or not. We actually really seriously considered just having no kids and traveling and shooting and being a creative couple and just doing all the fun things that are easier to do without kids and with less responsibilities. But because Emily is 8 years older than me, I had to ask myself that question a lot sooner. I'm 28 now, she's 36, and a few years ago we started seriously talking about kids because as a woman you can't have kids forever, and anyway, for about a year we were kind of flip-flopping around with the idea. One day we felt like kids sounded really awesome, let's do it. Other days we were like, you know what we did today we could have never done with kids. Let's just keep doing that and not worry about it. We were really not sure about it. But we had to really seriously think about it because eventually we'd be running out of time. Especially if you not just want one kid, 2 kids. We had to really think about what do we want. I think around that time I watched a Jordan Peterson interview where he says kids in general have a bad rep. If you look at movies and TV shows, usually kids are not really fun personalities or characters. A lot of times they're kind of annoying or just they don't seem to be that fun to be around. Except maybe like Harry Potter or most recently Stranger Things, where really kids are just these cool, likable personalities. And the more I hung out with kids in real life, because at that time I was really paying a lot of attention whenever I was hanging out with kids, I was imagining what would this be like to be a parent. And I found kids so fun to be around. They have such a good sense of humor, they're fun, they're curious, they make you look at things that you've maybe gotten used to and are not exciting to you, again, in fresh ways. I think that's something I'm naturally good at, so that was not super attractive for me for having kids. Being a free runner and a photographer, I have a sense of wonder and an excitement about my environment every day, and I think that's a huge part of what makes me happy, but that's something that kids make you, that they even like bring that out even more in me, and it's really enjoyable. So I figured like, okay, kids definitely good company. Then you look at parents in media and parents in general, a lot of them, you'll be like, oh, I wish I never had kids. Kids are stopping me from doing all these things I want and I like, and I had all these dreams and I couldn't fulfill them. That's kind of a typical character trope, standard parent. And I think even my dad as a kid would joke, like, don't have kids. He would tell me, he would recommend to me don't have kids in a joking way, but still, there's always a little bit of truth in a joke, so you think about it. And I was really worried, like, if I have a kid, will that dramatically change my life in a way where I'm not able to do the things that make me happy anymore. One of the things Emily and I did is whenever we met parents during that time, we would kind of let them know, like, hey, we're thinking about having kids, but we're not sure. And the overwhelming response from all the parents we talked to was like, it's the best thing ever. Like, yes, it's rough and some would complain more than others, but all of them would pretty enthusiastically recommend having kids. So we were like, all right, there's something worth to be had, some worthwhile experience that you get to have only if you have kids. For a lot of people, having kids, they say it gives them this sense of purpose, it's their meaning in life. And I never really liked that idea. That was never something that made it exciting to me. I already have a lot of purpose, a lot of things that are meaningful to me in my life. And if I had nothing meaningful in my life, I would feel worried putting that role on a child, because I have a feeling that doesn't create the healthiest relationship if your sole purpose and identity is to be a parent. To me, that didn't feel right. Like, yes, it definitely will add more purpose to your life. I don't doubt that it will add more purpose to my life and make me feel that what I do is meaningful and important, but I didn't want it to be the only thing that gives my life purpose and meaning. Does that make sense? And then of course it just seemed fun. I enjoy being around kids. I think they're interesting and funny, and that just, yeah, it's fun. And yes, arguably you could be having the same kind of fun hanging out with other people's kids. And I get that. Why, what did they say? So I have to have a window open. Why buy the cow if you can get the milk for free? So why would you want to have your own kids instead of just being able to hang out with your friends' kids, your family's kids? And what we kind of liked is, it sounds really interesting to get to see a human grow up. It seems like that experience of getting to watch that up close is really something that gives you a whole new perspective on life. I can only imagine. Already the pregnancy and really seeing it day by day is interesting to me. I learned so much. I've been getting so much more information and knowledge and appreciating, like, this is what my parents did for me and this is what that was like, and how struggles and good sides come with it. And it just seems like such an opportunity for growth if you make it that, if you really take time to have a sense of wonder and look at this human growing. Like, you get to really experience, we were talking about, you know, how you wish you could go back to second or third grade with everything you know now, or back to high school, and how that would be like. And in a way, with a child, you get to experience all those things again. Being a toddler, kindergarten, school, being a teenager, you get to live through that again a little bit, but with everything you know now. And that seems like a really interesting perspective to gain on life. I'm kind of excited about that. I'm also excited that Emily and I will have a challenge together, something that we have to figure out. And a challenge is always an opportunity to grow and an opportunity to live up to that challenge. And one thing I totally underestimated that I can already feel now during the pregnancy is the excitement of other people around us. My parents are so excited for us to have a kid. They're so excited to have a grandchild. Especially because we're having a daughter, because I have two younger brothers, we're only boys in the house. So my mom is like over the moon to have a small girl around. And that alone has already brought so much happiness. And it's crazy to me that Emily and I could kind of create that. It's exciting, it's fun. So overall we decided this is an experience that sounds fun and a good challenge and interesting, and we want to do it. And then of course the next question is, am I ready to be a parent? This is a new segment in the video, so we got to change the music. Now, if you come to the conclusion that you would enjoy being a parent, to me the next logical question is, am I ready to be a parent? And I want to unpack that a little bit, because when we talk to people about this question, am I ready to be a parent, it kind of got dismissed as, you're never really ready, so you can just go anytime and you figure it out. And so I tried to kind of rephrase the question to figure this out to me, because to me it was not like an easy, like, I'll just figure it out. To me it was quite a serious thing, because I wanted to do a good job. I didn't want to be a shitty parent. So I thought, well, everybody's always 100% ready to be a parent if you're okay with being a shitty parent. Doesn't mean you're gonna be, but you could be. That chance could be high. So then the next question will be, okay, are you ready? Are you prepared to be a good parent? And then I also thought, well, that's not the perfect question either, because being a good parent is really, it's really subjective, because there's many different kind of parents. Do you want to be the kind of dad that's always around their kid and does a lot of adventurous things and goes out and does activities? Or are you happy being a parent that just goes off to work and then during the evening has just a little bit of time with their kid? Or for some reason it's really important to you to have your always dinner together, or to be able to have a structured life. Some people might be happy traveling a lot and they think it's okay for their kid to be switching environments or countries. Like all that stuff is really deeply personal, and I don't think they're good or bad. It's just like positives, like good sides and bad sides about all of these things. So I think the right question to ask is, are you prepared to be the parent you would like to become? Sorry, no, are you equipped to become the parent you would like to be? Does that make sense? So if you want to have kids, then really seriously think about what kind of parent would you like to be? What would make you feel like you've done a good job and you've done what you wanted to do? When it came to preparedness, there was a few things that were important to me. These might be completely different to you, but this is what I was pondering and worried about. The first thing on my list was kind of mental state. How am I? Am I content? Am I happy? Am I enjoying life? Because I think in a relationship, that's where it starts. You don't want to have one person's happiness depend on the other. You want to have two happy people that come together in a relationship, and then they can share that happiness and experience things together. And I was thinking about how that works with a child, and I felt like, okay, I have to be happy being myself, and I don't want to have my happiness depend on my child either. Which of course is only possible to a certain extent, but I don't want to put that responsibility of my child making me happy on my child. I want to be happy, for one, because I want the relationship to my child to be relaxed. I don't want that responsibility on my offspring. And also, if I'm not content and enjoying life and a positive person, and I'm not grateful for what I have, and I don't think, like, I don't like myself and I don't think I'm a full person, then how am I able to teach my child? Because our child is going to model everything after the parents. Like that's going to be the biggest influence, especially in the beginning, and all the mistakes that we make are things that the child will most likely copy, and it will be very hard for that new person to undo those bad habits. So I'm like, alright, do I feel ready to, am I like complete enough of a person? Nobody's perfect, but am I complete enough of a person that if I would teach somebody else, or somebody else would model my life, would I feel okay with that? And that was a big part for me, and what's very much connected and intrinsic with that to me is the partner. That's the next topic. I didn't want to raise a child by myself, and I wanted to raise a child with a partner that I was really like excited about, that I respected, that I was proud of, and that I admired. Because that's a huge role model, that's a huge part of my life for my child. And I've had relationships before where at the end we were breaking up and I was like, this is a terrible relationship. I've learned like things about this person that would not make me comfortable with this person being the mother of my child. And I would be like, damn, I hope, like, if she would get pregnant, that would be devastating to me, because I now would have to not just see that person for the rest of my life, but also make these important decisions with a person that I disagree with on some important levels. So I think about and talk about your partner, like what do you imagine raising a child like, because there's also some things like maybe your partner will assume that if you have children, you're now gonna settle down or do this different, or you're now gonna change this part of your behavior, and maybe that's not what you imagine at all. So you gotta think about, is this the partner that I want to raise my child with? And also, what does my partner imagine that's gonna be like? And also, what would it be like if we were gonna break up? Would that still be an okay experience? Like, I'm so happy with not just how Emily and I are when everything's good and everything's happy, but also when Emily and I have a disagreement, then I always feel like we handle it extremely well. It's not like we're fighting each other, it's like we're both united together trying to figure out a solution to this problem, or to understand each other and to understand where this came from so we can avoid it in the future. So I think we have a very healthy problem-solving relationship system which I am confident would continue even if we would ever break up. So all that was really, really important to me. Like, am I putting this kid in a healthy mental environment to be like happy or content and person that can enjoy this awesome life that we get to experience? Another topic for me was finances. I was just trying to think about, okay, have money and my income figured out to a certain extent, and even if something would go wrong, could I still care for, be responsible for an extra person? I didn't try to be too detailed about it, because to me money is not really connected to happiness. I'm happy with a very relaxed, easy lifestyle that even if a lot of things that I'd like to do I couldn't do for a while, or I would have to stop doing, I think I could very easily still be content and happy. And that's why it wasn't a huge topic for me, but certainly something that I did think about and I wanted to feel somewhat confident in. And another thing that was really important to me is, like, would I still be able to do the things that I want to do? Would I like, if for some reason, because I had a child, I couldn't do my job anymore, or the things that I really loved, would I resent my child because I couldn't do those things anymore? And that's something I really seriously thought about, and I came to the conclusion that no, because I've experienced life as me. I've experienced life as a person without responsibilities beyond myself. And that was really nice. I was able to travel, not have an apartment, not do like any of these things that society kind of makes you feel like you have to do, and I really enjoyed that. And I understood that I will have to maybe give that up to an extent. Maybe I can keep it up if everything goes well, but if it doesn't, maybe that won't be possible anymore. And I thought to myself, you know what? I've experienced enough time living the lifestyle that I live, that even though everything new I will experience will still be exciting and fun, somewhat it would just be a different experience of what I did before. Always a bit different enough to be fun, but nothing that I just basically didn't feel like I would feel like I've missed out. So that was my phone. And that was important to me. And I felt like, okay, I'm giving up this life I'm living now, but I already know what that's like, and I'm giving it up for a completely different life. And that sounded exciting to me. This is going to be really something new now. And something new that I'm excited about. Yes, I'm going to have to give up some stuff that I didn't have in my previous life, but I'll get to do so many different new things that I didn't get to do before. And I felt like whatever old life I'm giving up, I felt like this new one would be worth it. So I wouldn't resent my child if my lifestyle would terribly change. I'm still going to think it's going to be fun, but bad things can happen, and then I didn't want, in the worst case, I still want it to be good. And that's basically it. I hope sharing these thoughts was hopefully interesting or helpful to you. Of course, I'm not a parent. I don't know what it's really going to be like, but I wanted to make this video now because it's kind of therapeutic for myself, because I circulate these thoughts in my head and these ideas, but forcing myself to put them in a video, to say them as concise and clearly as I can, really makes me think it through and form my thoughts. So it's kind of a self-serving video, and I hope you enjoyed this thought, decision, question, exploration. And if you did, let me know. Maybe we can do some more. If you like it, maybe leave a suggestion what else we could think about. If not, I'll come up with something myself, because This was really difficult and challenging to me, and that's why I think it's probably a good idea. I'll see you next time.